Hey everybody. Alright, so today we have a class. It's on washing dishes. As you can see, I have a bunch of dirty dishes here. First things first, I'm going to tie my hair back. Just makes things a bit easier. And the reason I want to do this class is I have a dishwasher here. I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to put everything in my dish drain because when we're back at program and we have our cooking classes, they're typically in the kitchen or in the after school program. And when it comes to them, what usually happens is we have to make sure that we're putting our dishes in the dish drain. Mainly because we don't have a dishwasher in the kitchen. And we have one in the after school program, but it's typically full, and they actually run classes in there and teach people, how to load and unload and things like that. It's kind of part of the day. So, that's what we're going to do today. I know most of you know how to wash dishes, so, I just want to go over some basics and different things and how to wash dishes to make sure you get maximum cleanliness. Okay, first things first, I've got two dishes here. One of them got stuff caked in there, and I've got another one that's got stuff caked in there. Now, what I usually do is, you soak them, which I will do. But because these are kind of caked in right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the water, and I'm just going to give them a quick rinse of the stuff that's in there, just to kind of break some of the bigger parts out, and that way we can actually get started on our dishes. And it will be easier to clean. It'll make things go faster. So for dishes, I like to use hot to warm water. So you want to heat it up first. Kind of check it. Oh, it's already kind of hot. Usually it takes a while. Alright, so we've got that going. Now since it's hot, what I can do is I can turn that off. And what I'm going to do is just put a tiny bit of soap in there. Tiny bit of soap in there. And then what I'm going to do is take these ones and throw them in here. And just start to break some of that stuff down. Like I said, I'm not going to soak these yet for very long. I will soak them later. But I definitely want to get it up to a point above where you can see most of the stuff. The residue, as it would be. Because we want to make sure that our dishes are as clean as possible. And there's certain sounds you want to listen for. We'll go over that a bit later. Alright, so now they're soapy. As you can see, it's kind of, you can see it's kind of soapy. I haven't clogged the drain yet because I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to do a quick rinse of it. So I'm going to take my scrubber and I'm going to get in there. And what you can do if the water's kind of hot and you don't want to burn yourself, you take this and then you just put this back, take your scrubber, put it over the top of it, and just kind of wash it out like that. And this one is pretty good. And then you want to fish out your scrubber or your Brillo pad, as it were. It's not really Brillo, but. And then you do it to the next one as well. Like I said, just to kind of break it up and get it to look not so difficult to clean. Because sometimes when you see something, you're like, oh man, that's going to take forever to clean. I actually had a friend who he was not happy with doing his dishes all the time. And one time he left them for too long and he said that he just decided to throw them all out and went and bought new dishes. That's kind of wasteful, but I didn't see what they look like, so maybe that was the best idea for him. Alright. So we got that done. And kind of scrub the outside of this with this. And get it done. There we go. And then I also have this one. I'm going to kind of scrub it out a little bit. And as you can see, it's not 100% clean, but it definitely looks better. This one also not 100% clean, but it looks better. Now what we want to do is clean out the sink a bit with the InSinkErator on. That's what it says on there. It says InSinkErator. Kind of get stuff out until we're happy. Then turn off. Anytime you turn on the InSinkErator or any sort of disposal, you want to make sure that water is running. Alright, so that one's done. So I've got these. I'm going to set them there. Now what I want to do is I want to take my handy dandy tools and I'm going to put them inside. That way they can soak in there. Now I'm going to leave that one till the end so I can talk about something. So, boom, boom, boom. Everything goes in. Now what do these two have in common? Well, they're both made of wood. Now you don't want wood to soak for very long. And you don't want to put them in the dishwasher. What happens, it expands and it starts to break the wood and it ruins the wood. So you want to keep these well as long as possible. So these will be the first ones that will actually wash once we're done soaking them for a bit. So we're going to put those in here. Take my cheese grater, put that in there. We've got everything set to go now. Everything's kind of inside something ready to soak. And then, oh man, I missed a lot. So let's turn the InSinkErator back on. I didn't see all of this. Come on. Had tostadas, and yeah, we used a lot of beans. But I don't want those in here right now. Alright, let me turn this off. We can turn the water off. And then what we're going to do is once the sink drains, we're going to take our plug and we're going to plug. Yep, this is taking a bit longer, so since there's still water in there. There we go. I'll let it run down. That's the sound we want to hear. We'll plug up the sink. And then try to find space for everything. So I'm going to put my dishes over here. Take this one. Put it in a different corner. Take this one. And set that in the middle of the sink. So now we have everything ready to go. We're going to need some of our soap. And you don't need a ton of this. It actually goes very far. When I was a kid, I used to use tons. And my mom would be like, "This is why I don't want you to do the dishes." And I swear I didn't do it on purpose. But she's like, "But you're using so much soap. It doesn't need that much." And I'm like, "I don't know. The more the better," I thought. She's like, "No, it's wasteful. And it costs money. You don't pay for it." So, I don't know. I kind of got out of doing dishes sometimes because she's like, "Yeah, DJ doesn't know what he's doing." Alright, so what I usually do is I fill everything kind of to the top of the dish. and then we're gonna let it soak. What happens when it soaks is you're gonna get it's gonna be a lot easier to actually clean everything off. If you don't let it soak for very long, then it could take a long time. Alright, so this one, I've got my right side full, and my left side's full. Well, my middle's full, and now I'm doing my left side. Like I said, they're all covered in soap. I would show you, but I don't want the video to actually turn off. But again, you want them to soak nice and well. And again, not too long for the wood, because then the wood could split. Let me see actually if I can show you. Alright, so you see how there's just soap built up to the very top. And then we're going to let these soak for a little while. After they're done soaking, then we can go ahead and wash them. So I'm going to pause the video for a bit and hope that it doesn't turn off, and then we'll go ahead and wash these. Alright, so I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, I'm back. So now they've had a chance to soak. So what we want to do is you want to take your nozzle here and you want to turn it to more of a warm setting. You don't want to keep it on hot. I don't want anybody burning themselves. So, you kind of soak it on, pretty good in hot water while it's actually soaking. But then you let the water kind of cool down. But then as you wash the dishes, you don't want to put more hot water in there. You want to make sure that you keep yourself safe. So we're going to go for it from here. I'm going to turn this on. I have two different functions. There's the stream, and then there's the spray. I like the spray. Check the water. It's a little too cold. And just kind of get it to where you feel like you're going to be doing well. Now remember, what was the first thing we wanted to wash? The wood. We're just going to wash this off. Get that good and clean in there. There we go. That's it. You got a nice clean spoon. And I'm going to put this in my spoon rack. Then we're going to move on to my spatula. Make sure that I get all the stuff off of there. And we're good. Nice and clean. So we're happy. Next thing I'm going to move on to is I'm going to do my cheese grater. This I never put this in the dishwasher. Main reason, you want to get all the edges around the bottom and inside. But the main reason that I don't put this in the dishwasher is it could rust. Some metal doesn't rust as much. This thing, no, could. I've had another one and it actually rusted. So that one, it's good that we have it that way. Alright, now I'm going to finish off with the utensils. So that's what I usually start with, is the utensils. And if you have a hard time with anything and you want to make sure it's clean, like this one seems to be giving me a little bit of trouble. What you can always do is take your scrub brush, take a little bit of soap, put it right in there, and there you go. And clean it up like that, and then, yeah, it starts to look a lot better. Alright, that one's nice and clean. We'll get another spatula. Apparently I use a lot of spatulas. And different kinds. That one was easy, nice and clean. Now here's a knife, so you want to be very careful with this. Clean it off. There you go. And the rest I got in here. I just noticed that the water is very hot, so we're going to let it cool down with some of the cooler water. Make sure you get the front and the back of each spoon or fork. And then what I do usually is I don't put them face down here. I always put them face up. Face down, the water just going to kind of drip down. And it also gets, down at the bottom here, you get some other stuff that you don't really want on there. We got some forks. Then you want to get the front. And you want to get the back. Then you want to rinse them. Same thing, face up. And the reason I put the knife here is so that I don't cut myself with the knife. If I put it in here, there's a chance, you could accidentally put your hand on it and you cut yourself, and I don't want that. We got some more spoons. And clean those off, front and back. They look good. Right in there. Now, when I set up my rack, I want to do the smallest bowl and kind of move my way back. So, got my little, it's my cottage cheese bowl, if you must know. It's when I like to eat cottage cheese, I put it in this one. I have purple bowls that I put it in, but it's smaller. And move this over here. You hear that sound? That's a good sound. That means it's clean. If you can't make that sound and it just slides around, that means you've still got stuff in there that you need to get out of there. Do my next bowl. And again, I want to clean it from the outside all the way around. And I want to hear that sound. And see that there's no food stuck in there. Got another one, again, clean all the way around. And, yep, that's the sound we want. And we're good. And again, we just go all the way back. Got this one. Go all the way around. And actually, this one I should have done further down the line. So what I'll do, I'm going to set this to the side. Now we're going to get those dishes that were a bit gunky. And they've had a chance to soak. This is when I use this scrubber, though. It's a lot more coarse, so it has an easier time getting through all the way. Let's see. Well, the thing is that like when we do dishes in program, either if we use them again, or if another program uses them again, we want to leave them with nice dishes, and we want them to leave us with nice dishes. It's fair, and it's the way we should be. Nice and clean. This has still got stuff on the top, I can feel it. Stuff I don't want. But it is getting that noise that I like to hear. Boom, alright. Well, that one's done. Now we got the big man on campus. But since we washed it so well before, it's actually doing quite well. Yeah, that looks good. Get that nice sound. That's what we want. Put this here. Now I'll put this one here. It fits right behind. Now we've got our plates and such to do. As you can see, dishes can pile up fast. Actually, yeah, we need to keep some space for another dish. So the more you stay on top of it, the less you actually have to do. The more you don't stay on top of it, the more you're going to have to do. And to me, less is better. And this might be, seriously, just last night's dishes. Melanie likes to use a lot of things. Not blaming her. She makes good food. Fantastic food. And again, want to get all the way around the plate. And you got to do the front and the back. You can't just do the front. You want to do the back as well. Because this sits, the back part sits on possibly dirty surfaces. So you want to make sure that both sides are clean. And we've got one more little guy. Usually I'd have this one up front, but for some reason it ended up on the bottom. And you hear the good noise, and that's what we want. Okay, now for another dish. This is my cooking pan, and it's definitely dirty. So I'm going to let this soak for a bit. Now, how I do this one, you want to put some soap in there. I also have my bread knife. I want to get that done. I'm going to let that soak. And I have a cutting board. Now what I do with the cutting board is usually I'm just going to take it, put a little bit of soap on it. And what I'm going to do, take this one out, turn that one upside down, so that the part that I cut on is the one that's soaking. Now what I do is, I fill up the pan. As I'm filling up the pan, it's going to help sink that one. But again, what do we want with wood? We don't want it to sit very long. Again, it could split. It also could add bacteria, and we don't want that. But we do want it to get clean. So, it's still important that we do it. So, as it goes, it's looking good, and now it's like sinking the pan. So what I do now that it's sunk, this has gotten cleaner. You're going to want to turn this over here so it's not so hot. And then we're just going to scrub it off. Now with this, you don't get the rant sound. Still a little warm. What's happened is my water heater is kicked on. I'm going to set this in the very back. That's good news for me, because usually that means I'm pretty much done. I search around, I'm going to find my knife. And this is a bread knife, but you still want to be careful with all knives. All knives are sharp. So pop quick. Do I put it in here, or put it down here? Here. I'm going to put it down here. Again, blade side down, so I don't cut myself. The last thing you want is to cut yourself. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash this one. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to take more soap, put it in here. I'm going to dump everything out of there. It's had time to soak for a little bit. This one doesn't need that long, so it really wasn't that dirty. But I'm going to get everything nice and clean, then I'm going to turn it over. There you go. I want to make sure I get all the soap off of this. Mainly because the next time I use it, I don't want my dishes to taste like soap. Because if you leave any of that, it could taste like this. I don't want that. Now, this might not be that clean. Nope, it's not. Still has that. It has kind of a grease coat. This is a non-stick pan though, so it might be that as well. The outside felt good, but the inside. There we go. Again, we want to look for that, or hear for that sound. Feel for that. Once it's nice and rinsed, yep, and it's good to go. And we're going to set this here with the little space that I left. And we're going to let those dry. Till they'll totally dried off. Now all I want to do is I want to unplug the sink. Everything's done. Keep the water on. And we're going to drain that. I'm going to dry my hands. Good sound. Want to clean out the sink for any mess. Let that end up there. We're looking good. Turn that off. Turn that off. Put that away. And we've got ourselves clean dishes. All ready to go as soon as they dry. Anyway, I hope this was very helpful. It's what we want to do when we get back to program. And help keep things clean. And make sure we're being respectful of all the other programs as well. Anyway, I miss you all. I hope to see you soon. Ciao for now.